Alright, now let's look at the model in Maya. So here's the model, fairly high res for what we want, and this is typically what you would get in production. Obviously not a bust, but in terms of density of the mesh. Now, up until recently, I've been UVing things and just fitting it where they can fit into UV tiles, and then creating isolation masks in Mari in order to make sure that I have things isolated in terms of different materials. So gold is all in one mask, and then leather is all in another, etc. This mainly applies to hard surface assets like robots, but I found it much easier to UV based on materials. So just as a side note, not going to really apply here or to this project, but for a robot, for example, I would assign a shader to every piece that would say be aluminum, assign another shader to everything that would be copper, and another shader everything would be brushed metal, powder coat metal, shiny metal, matte metal, all these different materials I'd have a shader for, and they'd be color coded. And then I would make sure that I UV them based on their material. And so in the UV space, in each tile, nothing in the tile would exist except for aluminum pieces. And that could mean that I could have 5, 6, 10 tiles of just aluminum pieces. And then I would have, again, 5, 10 tiles of copper pieces. I find this is much easier, especially in Mari, to select patches and hide patches, rather than having to hand select pieces within a patch and hide those, and it just becomes very cumbersome and slow. So if any of you guys are doing hard surface assets in the future, I recommend you UV based on material types. It's going to save you a ton of time. But again, it doesn't really apply to this one. So let's look at the UVs that I've created. As you can see, it's not at 0 to 1 because my eyes and my face is down there, and I want to put this all in context eventually. So I'm moving these up out of the way. And like I showed you before, this is technique I used in order to get perfectly straight lines for the metal that I want to have etching and brushed metal for. These pieces are leather. Again, not so important that they're not oriented left or right because it's going to be pretty generic leather. Same for this metal here. Again, I'm not going to do anything crazy with it, so it's going to be in terms of directional textures, so it's going to be fine. Same for these shoulder pads, which actually I don't think we end up using. No, actually, let me take those out. This was in the original design, but I ended up taking them out because they were a bit cumbersome and I didn't really like the vibe. So we just left it like that. So the model you'll be getting is this. So sorry about that. So I'll just delete these. So here are the UVs that you'll be getting. Pretty straightforward. Not going to worry too much about painting this in the back when we get to it because obviously we're not going to see it. But we'll dive into some techniques and stuff to get some cool looking stuff back there. And there you have it. Here's the model. So I'm going to end this demo and then we're going to open up in Mari and start laying down some base colors.